during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Amp2.tv presents You and Your Doctor, teaching you to live a longer and healthier life. Proudly sponsored by All County Healthcare, where people are the heart of our business. All County Healthcare is a Medicare certified agency where one call will service all your home care health needs. For more information, call 954-717-7027 or visit our website, allcountyhealthcare.com. Now, let's get informed to living a longer and healthier life. Here is your host for today's show.
Welcome back to another episode of You and Your Doctor, sponsored by All County Healthcare. Our number is 954-717-7027. We are a Medicare certified home health care agency. We're servicing Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. And our guest tonight, I'm super excited to have Dr. David Suarez, who is the owner of Pure Wellness Medical Consulting, and the website is purewellnessmedical.com. The phone number is 844-335-7873, and he's right here in Boca. So if you're anywhere in Palm Beach County, the address is 9033 Glaze Road, Suite C, in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Thank you so much for joining the show, Dr. Suarez.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I'm very appreciative to have you here. If you can share with the audience, we have you on the radio, we have live as well. Can you share with our viewers and our listeners a little bit more about your background and where did you go to school, what did you study, and give us a little bit of background information on you?
Well, it all starts, I grew up in Staten Island, New York. Used to play football, high school, then I played 7 years semi-pro football. I got injured, so then I went to medical school. From there, I went to Midwestern University, Chicago College of Osteopathic Medicine, became a general surgeon, then I went into cosmetic surgery, and then God took me and said, you gotta do more, so I started to interject my faith into my practice, and that's where I am today. And then I started a consulting business, Pure Medical Consulting, where we're able to take faith-based practices and help them get away from insurance, take a leap of faith, and go into cash-based practice.
So now, interesting enough, you said you were doing like cosmetic surgery. So when people are going in for a consultation and they're saying, you know, I want a breast implants, or I want, a face, cosmetic facial surgery. What was your take on it before the faith-based came in and all that? And then how did it transition, if you can give us more info?
So the background to why I went into cosmetic surgery was I was a general surgeon resident in St. Barnabas in the Bronx, bad neighborhood.
Yes, familiar
and
with them.
What would happen was, it's a very gang-infested area, so a lot of people would come in with dog bites to the face or slashes, and I started sewing them up or suturing their faces, and it came to the point that instead of calling the plastic surgeon, attending surgeon, they were asking for Dr. Suarez, the resident, to do it. So I said, you know what, maybe I have a knack for this stuff. But during my residency, it's a 5-year surgical residency.
Wow.
So it went from a 1-year plastic surgery fellowship to 2 years to 3 years, and I'm a 37-year-old resident. So I'm like, that doesn't seem too appetizing. So I went to the American College of Cosmetic Surgery, and they did a general cosmetic surgery fellowship. And they do the better part of plastic. So plastic surgery involves burns, it does congenital deformities,
I see.
breast reductions, general things of medicine that can be done in the hospital.
Right.
But then where they make their money is the cosmetic stuff. And I love the cosmetic stuff. I didn't like the other stuff so much. So that's why I wanted to do the cosmetic surgery. And all we did for a full year is breast augmentations, liposuction, Brazilian butt lifts, really beautifying the outside. And I fell in love with it because I was good at it. You were able to really sculpt someone's body. There's a lot of art in cosmetic surgery.
Absolutely, it takes a gifted person to do that.
But what happened was I hired a manager to help do my sales, and she was Christian. And so we went away with my family, and I brought her to a conference, American Academy of Cosmetic Surgery conference, where they teach you how to sell, they teach you about the procedures. It was basically made for managers to help you with your practice. So that was like her main sales training. She came from a beauty school. And so during this trip, we got really to those heart-to-heart conversations, and she taught me about her faith. And it didn't really ring true to me until we came back to New Jersey. And then I was having some patients that were struggling with drugs or struggling with a family member in the hospital. And I'm like, you know what? I have somebody here. Why don't we pray? So we started praying for our patients right there.
That's amazing. The power of prayer in a practice is so underrated. I mean, so you're really landing a distinction that I would say most doctors, I don't know, I would venture to say most doctors don't do that. So I feel like that's like a missing ingredient that you added. And what came out of that? Like, what were you experiencing with your results, or their results, I should say?
Well, what happened was I just fell out of love of doing the surgeries. I started to realize people were getting surgery for other reasons.
For the wrong reasons.
So if you were having breast implants because you were insecure your whole life and you feel like it would really help you, I would love to do that surgery for you because I thought I'd be enhancing your life. But a lot of it was for external reasons. Oh, I want to get a better job. Not really feeling anything for it. My boyfriend's paying for it. My parents are paying for it. So I started saying, you know what, I can't do that surgery. Why don't you come back when you have a better reason? And it started to be, I started refusing all of the surgeries. When I had people come back for their pre-op visits, they were like, well, we're gonna have the surgery? I'm like, nah, I don't think we're gonna do this one. So I kept canceling, and I found that I was doing my hormone therapy. Those patients loved it. They loved me. They loved how I changed their lives, weight loss, and even the little injectables, because it's not aggressive treatments. And I found that the surgery patients, regardless of what happened, they could see one little dimple or one little imperfection, and the whole surgery was a mess.
Yes.
And I just found that I wasn't really able to fix the problem. But when I was doing hormone therapy and vitamins and nutrition,
because you're treating them from the inside.
Exactly.
And because you're treating them from the inside, it's being reflected on the outside.
Right. And they found themselves to be more beautiful. Forget about what the outside was like. So if I had to do an injectable treatment after I was able to help improve their self-esteem from how they felt, I felt like that was something that I could do a little bit more easily. So I continued to do that aspect, but I really dove in deep with the nutrition and the health and wellness component.
That's amazing, because it sounds like to me you're a doctor with a conscience, and in your mind you're saying, wait a minute, if I just take their money, this is fixing them on the outside, but is it really going to improve their inner self-love, their inner well-being? And most doctors don't see that. I mean, that I know of. And so for you to take it to the next level shows me that you're truly concerned with the benefit of the patient.
Well, I think medical providers get a short end of that stick, because if you're dealing with insurance, you're kind of mandated to see a certain amount of patients a day to make money.
Right.
So in the past, when their reimbursement was a little bit higher, they could spend 15 minutes with a patient, and 15 minutes with someone isolated is a long time.
Right.
But now it's like 6 minutes that you have to discuss what the problem is, diagnose it, interpret results, and then give them a treatment plan in 5 minutes. And that doesn't work. So when I started to develop my plan, obviously insurance isn't going to pay for that. Plus, you're not doing the ICD-10, which is how they base treatments. You're not giving a diagnosis for a treatment, so insurance won't pay for it.
I see.
Because if I'm treating a symptom, or I'm treating not a real diagnosed disease, then I can't bill for that. And there's doctors that do take insurance for hormone therapy, and a lot of times, even to get lab work done, you have to misrepresent what you're doing to get those things covered. And I can't do that ethically or morally, so I decided, you know what, cash-based.
Has to be.
And I'm able to spend as much time with my patients as I need to. And the benefit to that is if I'm running a little bit late, I can walk out in my waiting room and say, listen, I'm running a little bit over with my patient, so if you'd like, you could reschedule, but if you just want to wait a little while, I'll be right with you. And everybody's a little bit more accepting to that. If you're in a regular office, the front desk says the doctor's running late, he's an hour late, people don't really care because they only have 5 minutes. But if you spend an hour with someone, the next person says, oh, I'm going to get the same amount of time, and it makes a big difference on how they receive that too.
And so another distinction is with what you're doing. I used to work for A4M, and I was selling fellowship packages for metabolic and nutritional medicine, fellowships for stem cell, for hormone replacement. I'm sure you heard of them. And so what I love about functional medicine is it's root cause medicine.
Exactly.
So now you're looking at the labs. You're not just going to say, oh, well, you have high blood sugar, I'm just going to put you on metformin. Tell me what you do now when you're looking at labs and you're cash-based. Tell us what is the difference between that and what a regular previous type of doctor would do.
Well, there's a major difference because if I'm just looking at your labs, then you need to follow a textbook.
Correct.
People aren't textbooks. So the part that we instituted first is a questionnaire.
Okay.
So I have a metabolic questionnaire and a hormone deficiency questionnaire. So I have a lot more information going in, and then your labs prove that instead of your labs giving me how I'm going to treat you. So by combining your symptoms with your labs, I have a more accurate way to treat you. And then I use optimal levels, not reference range levels. So certain things like your metabolic panel, your blood sugars, there's standard numbers that we all know about. But when you're talking about hormones, there's a lot of misrepresentation in the literature.
It's such a wide range, right?
Exactly.
Like it could be, well, you could be normal between 20 to 80. Oh, I don't know, I'm making numbers up, but there's such a broad range. So you're saying optimal levels.
Right, so it doesn't necessarily have to fall in the reference range.
Correct.
Because if your symptoms don't get resolved at either middle, high, normal, low, there has to be something else involved. And the other thing that people don't understand is they're all interrelated.
Yes.
So if you come in with fatigue, that doesn't mean that's one hormone.
Right.
It's how all the hormones work together. Our body reacts from an imbalance first. Because when your body's trying to make something and it can't, it either increases or decreases other hormones or other substances in our bodies to compensate for that to the point where it can't produce it anymore at all. So that's why the term hormone replacement came from, because you're replacing what you can't produce anymore. The other part is enhancement. So now, if I replace you and you're still not feeling the way you should, that's when we go for the optimal levels. So then you regain your life back, because a normal doesn't necessarily mean normal for you.
That's right.
So you need to find that individual range. So that's why those could be so off kilter to what the reference range show.
I'm loving this conversation. We're going to have a quick commercial break, but we're going to come back to the conversation because there's a lot more questions I have. So
excellent.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
All County Healthcare has exciting news for any and all patients with COPD or other respiratory ailments. Listen to what renowned pulmonologist Dr. Keith Robinson has to say.
Hello, I'm Dr. Keith Robinson, board-certified pulmonologist, medical director at Fusion Health Pulmonary Rehabilitation, and a board member with the American Lung Association of South Florida. We have exciting news for patients with COPD. We now offer IPV therapy at home, which has been demonstrated to improve airway clearance, decrease hospitalization, and improve quality of life of patients with COPD. Please call All County Healthcare for more information about this FDA-approved therapy.
For further information, call All County Healthcare now at 954-717-7027. That is 954-717-7027, or visit our website at allcountyhealthcare.com. You can also find us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Remember, All County Healthcare always puts the patient's needs first. You are listening to You and Your Doctor, Living Longer and Healthier, an informative show that helps you find answers to questions you always wanted to ask, but did not have that somebody that could make a difference in your life. Call into the show if you have a question at 888-565-1470, and we will put you on the air to inform all our listeners. Now, back to our show.
Thanks for coming back. We are sponsored by All County Healthcare. Our number is 954-717-7027. We are a Medicare certified home healthcare agency, and you can find us in Palm Beach County, Broward, and Miami-Dade. And we have back with us Dr. David Suarez, Pure Wellness Medical Consulting. The website is purewellnessmedical.com. Phone number is 844-335-7873. And he's right here on Glades Road, 9033 Glades Road, Suite C in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. So, Dr. Suarez, thanks for coming back. And so I want to talk more about, like, some people right now are listening. They're, at that age, maybe 50-something, and they're like, I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to menopause, or I'm tired, or I'm this, or I'm that. I want you to speak into what would you suggest for people who are experiencing this experience? Like, what would you say to them right now?
Well, what's going on in society right now is people Google everything.
Yeah, yes.
So they go to
Dr.
WebMD.
Google.
Exactly. So you get some information. So people are a lot more educated than they were in the past.
Yeah.
But it's not always the correct information.
You're right.
So a lot of times they come to the doctor with a booklet of information for the doctor.
Yeah.
This is what I have. This is what they told me I need. Can give that to me. If you see commercials on all the time, if you have high blood pressure, you should take this medicine. If you have a high cholesterol, you should take this medicine. Well, they're not a doctor that's telling you that.
Right.
And there's a lot of different options for you. And what happened since COVID is people started to realize there might be a more natural option that I can do. So my suggestion is do that research, but then keep your ears open for what else might be available. There's always there's naturopathic and functional medicine. There's a lot of different options that we have today that weren't there 15 years ago.
Thank God.
So if you have some of these questions, try to look at maybe a doctor outside of the regular mainstream medicine that you can look into. Obviously, I'm a great one for that, and we are a national company based in Florida.
Are you? Okay,
Yes.
So how does that work? Somebody in California wants to send their labs to you, they can do that?
Yes, well, California is its own state,
okay.
right?
So let's
California has a lot of restrictions about what you can do.
Okay.
Unless you fly in from California into see me in Florida, then I can't really write you a prescription unless I'm using a pharmacy in California.
Got it.
Because no other pharmacy can do it. So a lot of pharmacies that deal with the country are based in other states. So Texas is one that pretty much can go anywhere. There's a couple in Florida. But California is its own entity. So I can still treat you because I do have a California medical license.
Okay.
So I can still treat those patients. And a lot of times what happens is we get our lab work done because it's way different than what you're going to get. So I do over 70 different blood markers. So in our expanded blood panel, we have a simpler one that a lot of people take, but when you really want to know what's going on, we do inflammatory markers, we do cardiovascular risk markers, we do insulin resistance markers. So we have a better idea what's really going on, and then we have cancer screening and immune function. So we really look at everything before we start to treat you. So you have an idea what's going on in your health, and then we figure out where you really need to improve. So it's a lot more comprehensive than a simple blood work. A lot of times you go to the doctor and they might do an expansive blood panel, but they just say everything's normal.
Right.
Well,
you're in the normal range.
Right. I found a couple of things that you need to fix and we'll work on, and then they give you a prescription. The way you're taught in medical school is they're supposed to do 3 to 6 months of lifestyle change before you treat them with medicine.
Yeah.
But right now, again, like I said, if you're a medical provider, you have 5-6 minutes with someone, you don't have time to counsel them on lifestyle change. Here's your medicine, and they'll see you in 6 months.
Yeah, and what I love about what you're talking about, inflammatory markers and all these different markers that you're checking, what's good about it is they can be measured, so they can come back in 8 months or 9 months or whatever time you tell them. They can come back and they can visually see, okay, your inflammatory markers are going down. Because whatever, you're exercising, you're taking the supplements, you're taking the hormones, so they can visually, is that right? Can they
Exactly.
visually see that?
One of the better parts about that is because I use more than one marker for an inflammation or more than one marker for your blood sugar, I could put those numbers together where they mean something. And a lot of times you get blood work and one thing is sky high,
Right.
you're diabetic.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. If you put these other markers together, it kind of shows you. The most common one for diabetes is called the hemoglobin A1C.
Yes.
And what they use, that's termed pre-diabetes, which is diabetes. We all know, even if you're not a doctor, oh, my blood sugar is under 100, I'm not diabetic. Well, they changed that because now they use a hemoglobin A1C. And what that is, it's an average of your 3-month daily blood sugar. So if your average is 80, but your hemoglobin A1C gives you a digit. So let's say it might be 5.9. So if 5.9 is a blood sugar of 132, to me, you're diabetic.
Yeah.
Now, 5.9 to them is still pre-diabetes.
Wow.
So where does this start, right? So I treat people even if their blood sugar levels might be normal, their hemoglobin A1C might be pre-diabetes. I'm treating you as if you're diabetic because I want to get those levels down. What happens, and it's been clinically proven, if you have a blood sugar over 100, generally over 115, you can still develop symptoms of diabetes. Most likely peripheral neuropathy. So you start feeling less sensation in your toes, maybe your fingertips. You might start to have some kidney problems. These are all problems of progressive diabetes.
Lifestyle
They're
choices.
not reversed.
A lot of them are lifestyle choices, is that right?
It's all lifestyle changes. So the first thing that you really need to do is make new habits.
Yeah.
And that's part of lifestyle change. So you need a good 3 months to form new habits. So if you're not doing that, then that's how we have to step in and start this whole plan of what we're going to do. This is the first step, which is usually diet. So what I do with my patients is the same thing that I did for myself, right? So it all starts with my alignment with God. And I always talk to my patients about their spirituality. You don't have to be Christian,
Right.
but
It's
everybody
your
needs some
connection
sort of
with-
connection with the
yes.
higher energy, and everybody believes in that, even if you're not religious.
Right.
They believe in karma, they believe in something, and I make
Sure.
sure that is aligned first. Once you have faith in something, then we can move on to fixing your health. And then we go through every parameter of your health, not just one, because if you do one, you have to do the other. Like the most common thing that we hear is people have bloating after they're eating something. So, and we all know about gluten sensitivity, gluten
Yes.
allergy. A lot of people don't have gluten allergy. They have gluten sensitivity, which is a lesser degree,
Yes.
but you still need to cut gluten out. Oh no, I'm not gluten allergic. Well, how come you're getting bloated after you eat? How come you have diarrhea? How come you have extra gas? How come you feel so bloated? You need to work on those symptoms because it's the same problem. It's just a lesser degree. So once you fix those things, now I could start to feel better. Now, it all starts to make sense. You put everything together, decrease all those inflammatory markers, decrease cardiovascular risk, decrease the insulin sensitivity or improve insulin sensitivity. Now you can really start to work on people's health.
I love this conversation. We actually have 2 minutes left. It's gone by so fast. But if you can shout out to the audience, what would you suggest they do? What should the next steps be if someone's saying, I think I need to see you, or what can you suggest they start doing? What would you want to tell people? Any advice or tips before we leave the show?
Well, first thing, go to my website, purewellnessmedical.com.
Perfect.
You could even find me besthormonedoctor.com. It's going to bring you to the same page, my
Okay.
hormone page. It's associated with a questionnaire. Set up an appointment with me, we get on a strategy call, and then we figure out what plan is best for you, whether you want to do an expansive blood work, whether you want to do something a little bit smaller.
Okay.
And then we try to figure out what's going to work best for you, and then we'll get your plan, we'll implement it, we'll reevaluate it, and then we'll get you on another plan until we get you fixed.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate you for coming to the show, Dr. Suarez. All your information has been amazing. Thank you. The show's been sponsored by All County Healthcare. Our number again is 954-717-7027. Again, we are a Medicare home healthcare certified agency. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us share with you a longer and healthier lifestyle. If you have a doctor or are a doctor and wish to be on the show, call AMP2 TV at 866-244-5422, and we will put you on the air as soon as possible. Tune in